Mm. That is delicious, dude.
Unfortunately,
Uh-huh.
that's the LP version.
That's the LP version. Okay.
The single has Alex from Clockwork Orange in the middle. We took a little snippet about what I needed now was a bit of the old Ultraviolence.
Okay.
Right before they go out and do horrible things. And what was the other thing? Oh, we had the Wendy Carlos version of Beethoven's Ninth from the movie as the fade out.
Okay.
When it ended, it went right into the. But I think you actually have to buy the 7-inch to get that. And
Okay.
I got one. I'll sell you.
Hell yeah, dude.
I don't know what they're going for now. A lot. Maybe I should sell them and put my kid through college.
Absolutely, dude. You should. Oh man, are you cool if we're rolling? Like,
yeah,
if we're cool if we're just
whatever.
All
sure.
right, cool. That was awesome, and I've got to be honest. I've been listening to that a lot in the last week since I've been turned on to this. I have it saved in my liked songs. It's at the top every time I start my playlist. That's the first song, and it gets me going.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, welcome, Rob Laundy.
We're like one glow stick away from a rave.
Oh yeah, we got the glow sticks, brother. We'll bust out the glow sticks in just a second.
As long as glow sticks happen, I'll be okay.
Dude, it is so kick-ass for you to be here. Thank you so much, Rob, for coming on the show.
Great to be here.
You might be, I don't know, you like the more I was digging and the more that you were telling me about your past before coming, I was like, it's like this you might be a big get for this show that I don't even like. It's like a hidden gem for me. Just so you know. So
Okay.
I'm super nervous. So okay, because
Don't be nervous. I haven't been famous for decades. If I ever was.
okay, so on Instagram and TikTok, yada yada, I will post us listening to the hit Ultraviolence by Lower Class Brats, and you were what as part of that band?
I hit things. I hit things very hard.
Yeah.
And sometimes I shouted into a microphone.
Hell yeah.
If you listen to the songs, there are two kinds of backing vocals. There are the whoa-oh-ohs, and then there's just the general like ultra violence. If it's just shouting a word, that's probably me.
That's you.
I'm involved in those gang choruses. If it's a whoa-oh-oh, no, I don't do.
Sure. But you're on this album art, are you not? From 96?
Yeah, should be.
Yeah, this one with the Guinness.
Yeah,
but it's business, but it's Guinness. Okay, got it. That's you. That's so sick, dude.
The Business were a band we did some shows with. They were one of the original oi bands from England.
Original what?
Oi.
Okay, you okay. Tell me what that is.
It's British slang for the word hey.
Got it. Okay, and that
didn't Didn't you do theater?
I do, but what does it mean to be an oi band?
The other name for it is street punk.
Okay.
And here's the thing. I was never a punk rocker.
Oh, okay.
I was what they called a Herbert.
A Herbert.
I was a person who liked the music, but wasn't particularly interested in the lifestyle of being a punk rocker.
Okay.
I was a metal dude.
But you definitely got roped into the lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of golden liquid passed through these gates. God, I remember the last tour I did with the guys. I had just gotten married to probably not the right person.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Got it.
And I was frustrated and I was pissed off the entire time. And my best friend, my little turtle that got me through that tour was an unending supply of Cuervo.
Okay, got it.
I drank a lot of tequila.
Nice.
I mean, not just at the end. I mean, we did a show in Dallas with Oxymoron, who are this really great German band.
Okay.
And I got just stupid drunk beforehand.
Tequila in general for me is it's a bad lady for me.
I've learned my lesson finally.
Yeah.
Like they were like, you have time for one drink, so I got a triple margarita.
That sounds like my worst nightmare.
And drank it very quickly. And about halfway through the set, it was one of those weird, rare gigs where there was an actual drum riser.
Okay.
Usually punk rock shows, you just set up on the stage with everybody else.
Right.
And the singer half the time ends up in your lap.
Uh-huh.
But this time there was a drum riser, and it was not as deep as it could have been.
Okay, not as deep.
Well, I mean,
so you didn't have much space on there.
I can fit my drums into onto an 8x4 carpet, no problem.
Okay.
The problem is this riser was like 8x3.
Okay.
So plenty of width, not enough depth.
Got it.
And about halfway through, because I had my stool, it's 3 legs. I had the back 2 legs right on the edge of the riser, as far back as I could get it. And then halfway through a song, halfway through the set, I leaned back too far. And the next thing I know, it was an 8-foot drop, and I'm laying on my back, staring up at the ceiling, going, what the fuck just happened? And then I see Bones' little head come up, and he's like, I'm looking up, he's looking down. I was like, fuck this. That was the end of that set. And in all my years as a musician, I have never played a good show in Dallas.
Okay. So Dallas is like cursed for you.
I've seen a lot of great shows in Dallas, but I may never play there again.
Okay.
In any band, because I've played in Dallas with at least 3 different bands and 6, 7 shows. They were all crap.
Wow.
Oh, just awful.
So, could you tell me? Okay, so you mentioned somebody named Bones. Okay, could you run for our listeners that are not familiar? If they're not familiar with Lower Class Brats, tell us who's the roster that you are, like when it was you.
Okay, so Bones, Delarge, obviously not his real name.
Got it.
Is the singer.
Nice.
Still is.
He has a fun voice, in my opinion. Yeah.
He is also one of the best frontmen I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And certainly the best I ever worked with.
Okay.
Guy is amazing. Works a crowd like nobody's business.
A lot of energy.
Singers shouldn't play guitar.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's just, I appreciate the skill of playing an instrument and singing at the same time.
Yeah.
But as a crowd member,
Mhm.
I want a singer who is just singing.
Dude, oh my gosh. Is that a common thought among like musicians, like rock musicians? Because I am not in those circles whatsoever. So I don't know. But when I was a very young lad, I obviously, most people have a aspiration. It's like, oh, I want to be a rock star. And I always knew, it was like, I could be if I were to do it, it would be a front man singer with no instrument in hand, because I cannot play any. But I always thought, oh, that makes me less valuable. What is the general consensus on that?
There are two competing schools of thought that I know of. There's probably more that I don't, but there are those who feel that a singer who plays an instrument is value added.
Yeah.
And you don't have, okay, well, it's the guitar solo. What's the singer going to do? Oh, he's just going to wander around and be boring.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's when you catch beers and chug them. And
yeah. If you're playing guitar, then great. Your singer has something to do, or he's playing bass, or even,
sure.
If you're Don Henley and you're playing drums. God, playing drums and singing is fucking hard.
I can imagine.
I've been in cover bands where I've had to sing lead on 3 or 4 songs.
Holy shit!
Just because I generally have the deepest voice.
Yeah.
So I've done it. I don't like it. It's hard, but part of it is if you're playing a rhythm, right? You're just, like if I was playing drums right now and you were talking to me, I would have to talk like this,
right,
with every syllable landing on a beat.
Yeah, you can't flow at all.
No, I know people who can. I am not one of them, man. Don't talk to me when I'm playing.
Yeah, gotcha.
I get stupid.
Yeah. That seems very stressful. Interesting. Okay, and so how far did we get through this? We have Bones
and Marty.
Marty
Volume plays guitar. Still does. And then when I was in the band, the 4th member was Rick Landman.
Okay.
Who sadly passed away about 5 years ago.
Oh man.
Best bass player I ever played with. My best friend in the band.
That's awesome.
I miss that guy so fucking much, man.
Yeah.
We were a unit.
Yeah.
Tight as fuck, man. Live, as a drummer, the one thing you have to be able to count on is your bass player.
Okay.
And Rick is the only bass player. Well, there was one other. But that was all. I'll tell you about Jimmy later.
Sure.
Rick was the guy that I could count on to keep shit nailed down.
Okay. Right.
The two of us locked usually like 3 bars into the first song, and it was just tight as fuck for the next hour.
Okay. Hell yeah.
He was a great guy, great friend. He was the guy. Bones and Marty would do business when we were on the road, right? Like, example. First time we went to San Francisco, we recorded a single. Don't ask me about it. I fucking hate that record.
Got it. Noted.
And anybody who knows me knows why. But we're out in San Francisco, right? We're recording a single and we're doing some shows. This was my first time playing outside of Texas as well, I think. Second, we had done a show in New Orleans, but this was certainly the first time I had blown out to play a show.
Yeah.
I felt like a fucking rock star, man.
Hell yeah.
And I had a cold on the plane and I took something, and the first show was in Sacramento.
Something. Got it.
Well, somebody had cold medicine and they gave it to me.
Okay.
I don't remember the Sacramento show at all because I was completely, I mean, I had smoked a lot of dope. And me being me, I probably washed the cold medicine down with a Jack and Coke.
Sure, absolutely.
So that show, the only thing I remember about that show is that because we flew, we had to use other people's gear.
Okay.
You know,
Okay. Too expensive to bring all that stuff.
Flying a drum set out to California is expensive.
Sure.
So one of the bands that was playing before us was supposed to let me use their drum set.
Mm-hmm.
And their drummer decided he didn't like that idea. But we got it worked out. And then the next day, that band had a new drummer because they were embarrassed. So they fired him.
Interesting. Hell yeah.
I almost wore their shirt today. That would have been... Anyway, so we do that. Next night, we play in San Francisco. It's great.
Yeah.
We go into the studio, we record. Our friends, the Dead End Cruisers, there's a whole lot of history there, too.
Okay.
Anyway, they were another Austin band. We were, let's say we were friendly rivals. Emphasis on rival.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, they were in town. They were also recording in the same building as us, but in a different studio. And they were like, "Hey, we got a show. You want to jump on the bill?" So we did, and I played. Their drummer's name was Brent. Nice guy, little bitty guy, like Casey's height, like 5'2".
Okay.
Little bitty motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, and now he's a chef, I think, or something. Here's a weird thing.
Okay.
A lot of people seem to go from punk rock to chef.
It has to do with, I'm going to just create a theory out of thin air, but that doesn't surprise me. I feel like it has to do with the energy, the intensity, the sweat, the heat, and, you know, it's still an art. Like,
yeah,
I would imagine. But I don't know.
Well, as for me, give me art where I only have to work for an hour at a time.
Yeah.
I am not interested in, I've done food service.
Uh-huh.
I've worked in kitchens. It's a lot more fun playing rock and roll.
Yeah, I bet.
It just is.
I bet.
And you never, ever have to say the 2-word phrase that I hate the most in the universe. And my wife watches the fucking bear.
Uh-huh.
So I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, chef. Yes, chef. Yes, chef. No, fuck you, chef. Make it yourself. You're making the big bucks. Chop your own fucking onions.
God damn. Okay.
Sorry, guys. Not.
That's awesome.
Where were we before I do? Oh, so Dead End Cruisers.
Yeah,
right?
he became a chef, and yeah,
we're playing at this place called the Purple Onion, which Zach Galifianakis recorded a live
his special.
DVD there.
One of his specials is at the Purple Onion. Yeah,
I've played that room.
That's awesome.
And so Brent, tiny little fucker, little bitty guy, right? I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but I had 6 inches on him.
Damn.
And his kit was so close together.
Oh, right.
It was like playing one of those kits that they make for children. Uh-huh. Like, oh, I want my baby to grow up to be a drummer. So it was like a 6-year-old kit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and there's no carpet, so shit is sliding away from me. Mm-hmm. Like, that was nuts. But then Bones and Marty had to go back in the studio to do the guitar solos and the vocals and the blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm good enough at my job that like neither one of those songs took more than I think 3 takes. Mm-hmm. I just went in and did it. Rick recorded his bass parts at the same time.
Nice.
So we spent the rest of the week going to Alcatraz and riding around on boats. And we got the guys from The Forgotten, who were really nice guys, great band. They just basically threw Rick and I in their car, and we got to do a week of sightseeing.
Okay.
While those other two poor bastards were stuck in the studio.
Yeah.
Ha
Yeah.
And then we did have Rick got sick. So our friend Houston Richardson from Brutality Incorporated and Belligerent 86 and the Oysters. And Houston's one of those guys. He's got like 40 bands, you know.
Wow.
If you want to make money as a musician in Austin, you can't be in just one or two bands.
Okay.
You gotta be in enough bands that you're working every night.
Yeah, every night. Okay. Interesting.
But he came in and filled in for us, and he is also the guy who did this.
Hell yeah.
Because artistically, I'm non-existent.
What does that mean?
I can't draw shit.
Oh, okay,
I can't make stick figures that look like people.
Yeah.
I'm the worst, man. Mm-hmm. And like, you know, when my kids were little and like, Daddy, I have to draw this thing. I'm like, good luck with that.
What is your going to artistic, you know, in the collaboration process of like running a band, what is your favorite part about that?
Running a band?
I don't know the exact terminology, but when you are creating music, like what input do you find yourself bringing to the table, you know, outside of just percussion? Like, do you ever like, hey, what if we did, you know, more whoa-ohs there?
Yeah,
what,
I mean,
what is your strong suit outside of just doing your job?
God, do I have one? I don't even know.
Or you just do your job just really well?
I help with arrangements.
Okay. And what does that mean?
Well, you know, what part goes where.
Okay.
And how do we get from, okay, we got a verse, we got a chorus.
Right.
How the fuck do we get from verse to chorus?
Okay, cool.
And
yeah.
Like how many verses, how many choruses?
Yeah.
Do we need a bridge? What are we going to do under the guitar solo?
Okay.
You know, that kind of thing.
So you're a structure guy, like structure of everything.
Yeah,
that makes sense if you're, you know, keeping time for everybody.
With the Brats, at least, most of the time, Marty would come in with most of a song, or Rick would.
Okay.
And Bones had a notebook full of lyrics.
Yeah.
And you know, we would get together, and there would, you know, somebody would throw out an idea, and we just fuck with it over and over and over until we figured out, you know, oh, look, now it's a song.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly my thing was just hitting shit.
Yeah.
That's what that's
Hell yeah.
what I'm good at. It's what I enjoy.
Exactly. Hell
it's, you know, it's what gets me the chicks.
What is what is your personal favorite song from Lower Class Brats?
Well, Ultraviolence will always have a soft spot in my heart.
Yeah.
That one was me. That was
okay.
That lick at the beginning of the song.
Uh-huh.
That was a thing I did as a warm up.
Oh, really?
And I was
That's
just
amazing.
doing it.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if it was Rick or Marty started playing on top of it. And Bones had lyrics.
Yeah.
You know, that fit perfectly.
That's awesome.
I'm a real big fan of Molotov off the second album, Plot Thickens.
Okay.
Rick wrote that one about environmental stuff, and Bones doesn't like to hear this, but it was the best metal song of 1999. I will fight anyone who disagrees.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Bones hates metal.
Okay.
But I was a metal guy.
Right.
Which I think, and like Bones always said, that's what made the band work.
So what if there's, when I get into genres of music, I get lost. What is the exact genre of Lower Class Brats?
Street punk.
Street punk. What makes it street? Like what is street? And I mean, I understand punk for the most part, but like what is street?
It's and I may be wrong. This is how I understood it.
Okay.
Again, really more of a metal guy. Street punk is, what the fuck is street punk? Bones. What the fuck is street punk?
But I mean, I hear it, but I can't explain it. Does that make sense?
It's a more organic, I guess, form of punk.
Hell yeah.
It's not, it's not like pop punk where we're like, oh, we're going to play ABBA songs, but with power chords.
Yeah.
I hate pop punk.
Okay. How do you feel about Green Day?
Green Day are pop punk.
Got it.
Oh, here's a story.
Okay, go
about
for
Green
it.
Day.
Go for it.
In 1998, I believe, 97.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We had a record out. Green Day were coming to Austin. They were playing Liberty Lunch. Liberty Lunch wanted us to open.
Really?
We said no.
What?
Because Green Day are not punk rock, and we don't play with bands that aren't punk rock.
Whoa! Holy shit! Shots fired.
Like I'm sure, like, Billy Joe and Trey Cool and whatever the fuck the bass player's name is were really, really offended by that. It probably broke their hearts. Like, I had mixed feelings about it because I don't like Green Day, but on the other hand, it would have been a big fucking crowd. And we could have exposed them to what real punk rock sounded like.
What was your biggest influence? So if you say you're a metal guy, growing up, what was your biggest influence to get into music?
Rush. Judas Priest.
Okay.
Black Sabbath.
Hell yeah.
Slayer.
Awesome.
Although by the time Slayer dropped, I was already playing. Dave Lombardo is God. And then, like, I did listen to a lot of punk rock too. Like Fear. The first Saturday Night Live, whatever year it was that Halloween came out, Fear were the musical guests on Saturday Night Live. And my first band broke up because we were at the guitar player's house watching Saturday Night Live. And he was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. And I was like, this is fucking amazing. I want more.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the footage of Fear on Saturday Night Live, look it up. It is awesome.
I have a feeling I've gone back through the crates and gone through 75. I think I made it all the way up to, I stopped around Kristen Wiig and Sudeikis. So I've definitely seen it. I just cannot remember.
People, bodies flying everywhere. It is batshit crazy. They were on the show because Belushi liked them.
Okay. Yeah.
And they absolutely destroyed shit. And Lorne Michaels told them they could never come back.
Oh, that's that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because there's a very short list. There's a very short list of musical guests that are not allowed back, and I know exactly which one you're talking about now.
And then later we did 2-3 shows with Fear. So I got to meet Lee Ving.
Wow.
Fuck me, man. That was awesome. That guy is cool as shit. And I didn't think to bring anything to get signed because that's weird.
Right.
It just is. It's just
okay. So there's an understanding that it's weird for musicians to get autographs from each other.
But Rick, bless his heart, didn't give a fuck. So he got Lee Ving to autograph his like VHS copy, I think, of Clue, where Lee Ving is Mr. Body.
What?
Like, why not Streets of Fire, motherfucker? He's got a much bigger part in that, and it's a better movie. Streets of Fire is the best rock and roll movie ever made. I will fight you.
Streets of Fire. Okay, got it.
I love Spinal Tap.
Yeah,
but it's only second.
Whoa, I don't know about that. Well, I have never seen Streets of Fire. So.
I do.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's go. So we've established you as a guest of this immense talent, this intense lore. Do you want you want to run us through some more backstory of just you? And you can, include stuff about the band and everything, but who are you? Because we know you as a member of this band, but who are you? Where do you come from?
I was born a poor black child.
Steve Martin, what are you doing? The jerk?
Oh wait, I have rhythm though.
Oh my god, dude!
No, I grew up an Air Force brat. I was born in Illinois.
Okay, why do we call it brats? Is it just something that's stuck about military?
I guess.
Okay,
I don't know. That's like my whole life.
Yeah, that's what
Air Force brat, Army brat,
Yeah.
Navy brat. I was an Air Force brat.
Mm-hmm.
I was born on October 22nd. And on October 29th, they put me in a laundry basket. And we probably drove. I don't know. I was a week old. I wasn't fucking paying attention. It took 3 weeks. We left when I was a week old.
Okay.
To go to Anchorage, because that's where Dad had been transferred to.
Wow.
We got there on my 1 month birthday. I spent the first basically 3 years of my life in Alaska. And then we moved to New York.
Then 1 year later, you were doing shows behind.
Yeah.
You were drumming.
From where we lived, I could see Russia from my back porch. And I really wanted to be in a Russian punk rock band.
You must be a Sarah Palin fan. Go.
I would like to find a giant fan and feed Sarah Palin into it feet first. Hi, Sarah.
Oh. I can see Russia
Dad,
from my backyard. Go on.
Dad got sent to Korea for a year, so we went and lived with my grandma in Illinois. And then we went to New Mexico. And then we were supposed to go to Idaho. But Dad went to the NCO Academy at Bergstrom when there was still an Air Force base in Austin. And they offered him a job. They wanted him to teach. So we got out of going to Idaho and came to Austin. And then my parents fell in love with Austin and decided to retire.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And then Dad worked for the state. Mom was a teacher. I hated school in Austin. I got beat up. 7th grade, I got beat up at least twice a week.
Okay.
I was one of very few white kids at the newly integrated, mostly Hispanic junior high. Did not like that at all, but I was still pissed when my parents told me we were moving to Bastrop. I have friends. Yeah. I had one. I had like 2 friends.
Right, but they meant a lot.
Yeah. Well, because we were our own defense league. We were fucking NATO. And then we moved to Bastrop. And I finished junior high and high school there. Mm-hmm. Went to UT, flunked out after 2 semesters, went to Texas State. Only took me 29 years to graduate with my bachelor's degree.
Hell yeah.
In 2013.
That's awesome though. So when did, about what age, when did you form the band?
I started playing drums in 6th grade when I was 10 years old.
Did you play like the school, or did you get a set? You get a set at home?
I was in the school band and in marching band and all that. Mm-hmm. And then we moved to Bastrop. And see, I didn't like school in Austin. Okay. But the band at the 2 schools I went to in Austin both had percussion teachers. Okay. So I got
special teaching. Yeah.
I got some side learning.
Hell yeah.
And then I moved to Bastrop where they didn't have that person. Mm-hmm. And the first day I was last chair because I was the new kid. Mm-hmm. A week later, we did a chair test and I was the only person who could play the cadence. I can still play it now. I remember it.
It's in my blood.
It was
Fuck yeah.
That was it. I could probably play it one-handed at this point. But then I went to first chair because I was the only person who had anybody actually teach me how to play drums. And I stayed first chair until I graduated.
That's awesome.
My junior year, I met this cute little flute player named Kathleen. She was shit. I mean, she was 14 and I was 15 and a half, you know. Dated her best friend, and then her best friend moved to Houston. So I dated her other best friend until I graduated.
Right.
And then let's just be honest. I'm at a sex shop in Austin. I'm living in Austin. This is 10 years later. I'm in the Brats.
So
I've got a girlfriend. She's horrible. And we're buying condoms.
Sure.
And
what for, you know? No.
Yeah. And then I hear somebody go, "Hey, Charles Ann, you've got a phone call." Like, Charles Ann? I know a Charles Ann. Casey's little sister was named Charles Ann.
Okay.
So after she comes back, she gets off the phone. I'm like, "Excuse me, your name's Charles Ann?" Yeah. Who's asking? I'm like, "Well, do you have a sister named Casey?" "Why do you want to know?" Because we went to school together, and here I got this new thing. It's called an email address.
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, I think she's got email." "Well, here, give her my email address." So she emails me. This is 98. She had just moved to Waco.
Okay.
Casey.
Yeah. This is okay. So if you don't know what we're talking about, go listen to Professor Laundy's episode. It's just a couple episodes back. Pause this and you can come right back.
Yeah. So she sends me an email and we chat, and I'm like, "Hey, we're doing this show at Liberty Lunch. Come on out." Well, I didn't like my girlfriend. She was bringing her best friend, who was my first girlfriend. Right. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going to go on tonight, but I'm leaving with one of these. Like, I have got to get out of this relationship. You know, I can surely convince one of them to leave their husband for me. But
oh my God,
they're not punk rockers. They're both 5'2".
Right.
They're little bitty girls.
Yeah.
We had a great big burly man crowd. About half our crowd was skinheads.
Okay. All right.
So like I talked to him. Apparently I was very weird. I'm always very weird before a show.
Okay.
So
you
I
get
probably
nervous?
should have. Oh God, yes.
Okay, cool.
I have the worst stage fright.
Really? Really? Well,
Before. As soon as the lights drop.
Confidence.
Yeah. Boom. It's like, boom. I got this.
Hell yeah.
But like the entire day of a show, I'll be like, "Oh my God, I'm going to fuck this up so bad.
Sure.
This is going to be awful. Everybody's going to hate me. I've got imposter syndrome like nobody's business."
I'm right there with you.
So
I am just cosplaying as a podcaster. Go on.
But yeah, I was weird as shit. So they left after like the first or second song. I was so mad.
No.
And then like 6 or 7 years later, I get this MySpace friend request.
Oh, whoa.
From Kathleen Cochran. And she's like, "I don't know if you remember me. We went, I was Kathleen Laundy. We went to, or Kathleen Ravensburg."
Yeah, right.
Well, that was Freudian.
Yes, Freudian foreshadowing.
So we started talking on MySpace, and my marriage was falling apart and her marriage was falling apart. And now we're married, and we have been for 15 years and 3 weeks.
That's amazing.
I got 3 kids. 2 of them are biologically mine. The other one is hers, but he's still mine.
Hell yeah.
Got Seth, Sarah, and Sylvan, which It's very confusing when you're trying to yell at somebody and like all the S names.
The alliteration goes wild. That's incredible, dude. So the way, okay, deep lore from my end is like, I knew you, my literal first introduction to you, and maybe I'm making this up, but I believe you substitute taught for China Spring. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's where I went to school. That's where I went. And a lot of the listeners are from there. And so they probably ran into you there.
Hi, China Springs kids from 10 years ago.
15. Well, 15.
However long it's been. I don't know.
It's been a while now. So that is like my deep, like, that's my first introduction to you. But then later, I find myself at McLennan Theater, and, I'm, under direct tutelage of your wife. And then I don't know if you want us to talk about it, but you write something. You write a play.
Yes, I really need to finish that.
Yeah, but it's so good, and I still remember it. Like even though we just did a reading of it. I don't know if I should share the title. I'll let you do that if you want. But copyright reason, I have no idea.
I never copyrighted it.
Okay, so you want to save it. But anyways, you wrote something, and the concept was very fun, and the writing was great.
Thank you.
And I still remember doing it. I still remember, even though it was a reading and I have the words in front of me, I remember screwing up the final line that you have for me. And it was amazing, but and I was like, oh, damn it. But yeah, so what drove you to do that? To start writing plays? Have you done any more?
Honestly, no. I'm really, when I write, it's generally short stories.
Okay.
But the missus was like, you should write a play.
Yeah.
Like, I've never even thought about writing a play. I wouldn't know how to start.
Yeah.
So I bought a book.
You should write Green Day the Musical. Oh, wait. It's already been...
Only if they can be played by Muppets.
You should write American Idiot. Dude, Ultraviolence the Musical, though?
Isn't that just A Clockwork Orange?
Yeah. Fair enough. But yeah, dude, based on that, you definitely should, continue down that vein. I mean, you're just such an interesting, with all of this being said and all of your lore coming together, like, you're a very, very interesting person.
Well, thank you.
Just so you know. I
don't think I'm interesting.
I'm having a hard time. I'm just like, what lane is this guy in? You're all over the place, dude. You know what I mean?
That's because I've been drinking and driving. God, I hope there are no cops watching this to pull me over from this microphone.
Oh my God. Oh man.
Bastards.
So what what does the future hold for you, Rob? What would you, in an ideal world? Now this can get really crazy, but
wow, in an ideal world?
Yeah.
I'd be a real rock star?
You are a real rock star. Just so everybody knows.
If I'm a real rock star, how come I still have to buy my own drugs? When I was making music, I never paid for drugs.
Right.
And now Dan Patrick wants to take my drugs away from me. Fuck you, Dan Patrick.
Right.
So,
okay, we
just to get political for just a second.
Go for it.
Dan Patrick doesn't give a flying fuck about the morality of weed. Dan Patrick wants to make it illegal again so he can keep sending people to prison for a bullshit crime, and he can use them as slave labor. Look it up, sheep.
It's Yeah, like the whole for profit prison system, like it's pretty wild. Pretty wild stuff, dude.
If we're such a free country, how come we have the highest population of our highest percentage of our population in prison of any country in the world?
Dude.
Also, if your rights can be taken away from you, they're not rights. Right. They're privileges.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And Greg Abbott is a DEI hire. So we went to this protest yesterday, and I was really trying to convince people the governor's mansion's a block away from the Capitol. Mm-hmm. It's right fucking there. I was trying to convince people we need to go over and knock out the fucking wheelchair ramps. How you gonna get to work now, motherfucker?
Oh my God. Yeah,
if
the
your
hypocrisy with him specifically is wild, dude.
Yeah,
wild.
If you like Greg Abbott and Donald Trump and Elon Musk, you're not gonna like me at all.
What? Okay. So you lightly mentioned, or not even lightly, you mentioned skinheads were the punk rock scene, and I know you said you're more metal. But yeah, how do musicians like navigate those waters about like, because I know aren't a lot of punk bands relatively political, like, and so
on both ends of the spectrum.
On both ends, okay. So how does that work? Like, did you guys typically clash with other bands? Did you guys? Shrug off the differences and go play? How did that work?
In the beginning, we tried. We were avowedly non-political.
Okay.
It was a different time. It was the 90s. It was
right.
95.
Yeah.
And it was, the world seemed fucked up then, but looking back,
it's like, this is the golden era.
Fuck, man. Can we please have Bill Clinton back? So we weren't particularly political, but musically, we drew both punks and skins.
Interesting.
Skunks.
Skunks.
Skins and punks.
That's what they call. Okay.
We had a skunk crowd. And early on, that was problematic.
Yeah.
There were some clubs that we were told we couldn't go back to because there were a lot of fights when we played.
Yeah.
A lot of fights.
What do you guys, did the front man ever point that out, or you guys let it ride? Like, were you guys wild enough that you like not that you wanted anything bad to happen, but like, it was like, it's rock and roll. Let's fucking go.
On the second album, there's a song called Background Music. The first line of the chorus is, "We're not playing background music for all your fucking fights."
Got it. Okay, cool.
And, by then, by the time we actually got around to recording that song, when we wrote it, it was still a problem. By the time we got around to recording it, some things had happened. The skinheads in the area, there weren't any more Nazi skins in Austin.
Okay.
They'd all fucked off to Dallas. One more reason to hate Dallas. So it got a lot better. But the non-racist skins would still come to our shows.
Interesting. What is it? How does that work? A non-racist skin? Like they just.
Look, the thing is, skinheads originally came out of two-tone.
What is that? Because I don't know nothing.
Are you're familiar with reggae, right?
Sure.
And
yeah.
ska.
Yeah.
Okay, when reggae started to evolve into ska, white kids and black kids were both going to the shows.
Okay.
And a lot of the white kids were skinheads.
Okay.
But non-racist skin, anti-racist, not non-racist, anti-racist.
Interesting.
Subtle but important difference.
Oh yeah. Very important.
So skinhead culture isn't necessarily rooted in racism.
Yeah.
It just because there were so many Nazi skins around for a while, they kind of all got that reputation.
Sure.
But I've known a lot of skinheads, and for the most part, you know, the ones that I didn't get involved in punching the shit out of were good people.
Right.
You know, they're just people with, you know, this haircut.
Yeah. Do you have any stories, any absurd stories from touring that you want to share before we get into the silly questions?
How much time you got? Okay. First one. This is a good place to start. August 99. We had recorded it. We recorded Belson Was a Gas by the Sex Pistols for a Sex Pistols tribute album. That's hard to say.
Yeah.
They did a record release show for it in New York City at the Continental Club. So we went up to do that. Oh God, there's actually two stories from this night, but one of them I would have to give you so much backstory on. So maybe later. But the good one, we play this show, right? And CBGB's is like 2 blocks away.
Okay.
None of us had ever been there. It's where punk rock comes from in America.
Okay, I don't know anything. So that's like the birthplace of punk.
The Ramones.
Okay.
Blondie.
Got it.
Jesus, everybody played there. Agnostic Front, Madball, everybody. Yeah, New York punk. Talking Heads got their start there.
Wow. Okay. Sick.
So we go in, and Bones and I were just talking about this the other day. So I have a new ending. Bones had been pissing me the fuck off all night. I love Bones. I do. But when he decides to annoy you, he's really fucking good at it.
Right. Okay.
So we're at CBGB's. There's nobody there except us and the bartender and like one guy with an acoustic guitar on stage who's boring as shit. But like, punk rock legend, man, you know? So we're hanging out. And Bones, I don't remember what he said, but he finally pissed me off enough that I stood up, grabbed him by the shoulders, and threw him into the wall of CBGB.
Oh my God.
Which collapsed on top of him because the walls in CBGB are just flyers this fucking thick. Because it's been there for 50 goddamn years, you know? So it just... The wall comes down. The bartender comes over with a staple gun, pushes the wall up, and then kicks us the fuck out of the bar. And then Bones tells me 2 weeks ago that the chick who threw us out was the owner's daughter. Like,
oh, shit.
Hilly, who owns CBGB, is a punk rock legend.
Okay.
And yeah, so we got thrown out of his bar by his daughter. That was fun. You know, that was earlier on the way there. He had pissed me off and I pushed him into some hedges. Because fuck you. Like, oddly, you may be surprised to hear this, but at the end of this tour, like 6 months later, I quit the band. Because I just couldn't anymore.
Real. So was there a lot of just like, what was the disagreements there?
And I was
a lot of stuff.
I was like 34. I had just gotten married for the first time. There was a lot of like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? You know?
Okay.
So I was like, I got to change something. And my wife didn't like me being in the band. So she sort of convinced me that I needed to quit.
Yeah.
And pretty sure that's why we got divorced 9 years later.
Okay. Yeah,
it was a big part of it.
Yeah.
Stupidest thing I ever did in my life was quitting that band. You know, but whatever. I did.
Yeah.
There was a night in Baltimore. We had picked up a couple of roadies for this tour. They were from Florida. We met them in New York because that was our our home base for that tour. We're playing in Baltimore. I, like an idiot, am wearing a shirt with a glitter Confederate battle flag on it.
Okay.
There were a lot of drugs and alcohol involved. And unbeknownst to me, but I found out later, one of our roadies, the guy we called Rico, because he was so Rico Suave with the ladies.
Sure.
That might have been sarcasm.
Okay. Oh, got it. Right.
He's standing there arguing with this skinhead in an alley, and like they all want to beat me up too. But like our roadie, who I don't even remember what his real name was. He was Rico.
Okay.
And this Baltimore skinhead guy are face to face. And the skinhead dude does this fucking Jackie Chan kick in steel toe boots. They're like literally like maybe 2 feet apart. And this guy just swings his leg up and kicks Rico in the face.
Oh my God, dude.
Rick is like, go get the van because, I'm the next target.
Yeah.
So I run off, I grab the van, I pull up, I throw Rico in the back and the other guy who we called Meat, I believe.
Nice. Rico and Meat. Got it.
We get in the van, we're fucking taking off, man. Like cars full of angry anti-racist skins behind us in their city. I had never been to Baltimore. None of us had.
Okay.
I'm driving.
Yeah.
This is before GPS was a thing.
Right.
I mean, it probably was a thing, but you had to be the military, I'm sure. We're driving. I noticed, oh, look, there's Camden Yards.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Cal Ripken's playing tonight. Of course he is. But I luckily find Interstate 1, which goes from New York to Florida.
Okay.
And I get on it and they give up. We get out of Baltimore. We're somewhere between Baltimore and New York on Interstate 1. We stop at a fucking gas station and buy a portable sewing kit for sewing your buttons back on or whatever.
Yeah.
And Rick puts like 9 stitches in this dude's eyebrow.
Yeah.
While I'm driving. That was fucking nuts. And for some reason, the show the next night in DC got canceled.
For some reason.
I honestly don't know. I don't know if it was related or not.
Right.
But oh, well, tour's over. I guess we're going home.
Yeah, my God, dude. That is insane.
The best one, though, our third show, we played a house party, and then we opened for Battalion of Saints and Buzz Crusher at Emo's. And then our third show, right before we went into the studio to cut our demo, was at the Austin State Hospital.
Oh, wow. Okay.
For those of you who don't know, Austin State Hospital was a residential mental facility.
Oh, my God, dude. What?
They had a rec room. They rented it out for bands. The Verukers were coming over from across the pond. They wanted us to open. Okay, we'll play with you. We don't care. At the Funny Farm.
Wow.
And there was another band on the bill. We were in the middle. And Rick and I are sitting out in the back of my truck as the sun goes down and the residents start coming for the show.
Mm-hmm.
It was like being on the set of Night of the fucking Living Dead. These people, I'm not.
No.
I'm not trying to be insultive.
No, I got you. Yeah.
Again, drugs were involved all around that night, I'm sure. But they're like shuffling to the show.
Yeah, I bet.
There's this one guy, and Rick. I got a couple of tattoos. Rick, this one right here. That was my first tattoo. We got that when the first single dropped.
Hell yeah.
But Rick is completely sleeved out. And this guy's like, I want your tattoos. So Rick gets out a pen and starts drawing for him. And he's like, no, I want your tattoos. Take them off and give them to me. And then, like, there's a fan. So I go to plug in the fan and electrocute myself. That was fun. I mean, obviously not to death, but I shocked the shit out of me. And I still had hair then, so my hair was nice and spiked for the show. This kid is marching up and down across the front of the stage for all 3 bands. He's got a UT sweatshirt that he's like waving around. And then when the Varukers are playing, he goes and he hangs it on their bass drum. Like, it's
sure.
Which
Yeah.
I think was actually my bass drum.
Right.
So, you know, it was just, it was fucking insane, man. It was odd, but
that sounds crazy.
Those fucking, let's see, the deal was you could have a show and you could charge cover, but you had to let the residents in for free.
Okay. Yeah.
So the crowd is like half punk rockers, half crazy motherfuckers. It was just the goddamnedest thing.
Yeah.
And then that had been going on for like a year and a half. They had been doing shows.
That's wild,
and then
dude.
like a couple of weeks after we played, some idiots gave a bunch of beers to the residents.
Can't mix it with the meds.
Yeah.
Like,
so
God.
they were like, yeah, we're not going to do this anymore.
Yeah.
It was a shame. It was a fun gig.
Yeah, that sounds
weird.
Yeah.
Weird fucking gig.
I want your tattoos.
Yeah.
I want your tattoos on my skin.
I want your skin.
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's make sure this guy is not in the truck when we leave.
That's awesome. God. Oh man, thank you for sharing all these stories, dude. This is awesome. Let's satisfy the title of the show. Do you, Rob, have an impression of an actor, a celebrity, a character from some media, or somebody that you know that you like to do in your free time?
Did Casey tell you what's coming?
She gave me a hint.
Did she send you a picture?
A picture.
That dude was so fucking nice, man.
Yeah.
He was.
That's awesome.
I got to meet him like 6 times.
He seemed, I think he was notoriously very nice. Like everybody loved him.
And he apparently lived in Texas, so every time we went to a con,
he was there.
He was there.
Yeah.
And
you will know once he lets it rip.
You may have to edit this a little because sometimes I don't get it on the first try.
No. Incredible.
Fun Peter Mayhew story. So he's at a con, right? And we're taking the kids, and Sarah draws a picture of Chewbacca. She's like 6 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very cute picture.
Sure. Yeah,
she draws 2 of them.
That's awesome.
And we go and we meet him, and she gives him one, right? And he autographs it and gives it back to her.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, this is for you. So then she gave him the other one, and he signed it, but kept it.
That's awesome.
You know, so,
wow.
I mean, that was just how good he was with the kids, man.
How tall? I want to say like 6'7" or something crazy, like 6'6" or something. Like,
dude, I'm like 5'8".
Yeah.
I think he was 11 feet tall.
Yeah.
He was like, now I don't really know, because by the time he started doing cons and we were going to him, he was already in bad health.
Right. And
so he was always sitting down.
That's right.
So he was, he was about my height.
I remember. Yeah. I remember. Gotcha. Yeah. The way I remember it. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. That was beautiful. Beautiful Chewbacca. Beautiful Chewie. Okay. One more silly question before we wrap up. If you were in an arena with let's say 50, there's 50 people selected from around the world, all ages, 18 plus, and everybody gets assigned a melee weapon of their choice. No ranged weapons at all. And you have to be the last person standing till the death in, imagine a Roman Colosseum style arena. What weapon would you choose?
Do I only get one?
It can be two, as long as it's not like I'm getting a bunch of spears to throw them.
No.
You know what I mean?
No. What I would like is a pike.
Yeah.
Like those carried by Henry V's troops.
Oh yes.
You did a very good job in that show, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Henry V.
Yeah.
You were excellent.
Thank you so much.
I loved that show.
And
you know what's really weird though? Is that the girl who also, I don't remember her name.
That was Caitlin.
Caitlin.
Yeah.
She was really good in it too.
Yeah. I'm working on trying to get her in here, and we can talk about that. And she's in. Don't want to speak for her, but she's like doing wrestling. Like she's pro, like the pro style where it's characters and all that. Yeah.
Awesome.
I know. I'm working on trying to get her in here. So.
In one hand, I would have a pike.
Mm-hmm.
The point, the hook, and then in the other hand, either a mace or a morning star.
That would be sick.
Because you take the pike.
Uh-huh.
If you can stab them while they're still far away, great.
Right.
If you can't, you use the hook, pull them in, and then beat them to death with your spiky club.
Right. What would your temperament be in like once the gun goes off and everybody's like, all right, ready to go? Like, are you going to be aggressive, or are you going to kind of wait to the side? Like, are you going to try to sneak around, try to pick people off, or are you going to go brute and go wild in the middle?
Hard to tell until we're actually there.
Right.
I'd like to think,
sinks in.
I would like to think that I would be smart about it and let the stronger fighters take each other out while I circle the perimeter and, kill the weak. And then once the strong have. You're on do not disturb.
That was an amazing sound effect. It was like perfect for the arena battle.
So what I would want to do would be, go around and let the strongest fighters wear each other out, eliminate everybody weaker than me right off the bat. And then when the good fighters are all fucking exhausted, sneak up behind them and poke them.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cause people are going to get, beaten down. You got to wear them out. Like some people are going to draw so much heat just on their like size and stature. And you're just like, okay, those people, like let them take all that heat at the beginning.
Yeah.
And let them get worn out for sure. But yeah, I always find people's attitude or their strategy about that particular hypothetical to be interesting. So, and one day I'll compile everybody's answers, and
one day you'll get us all together and rent an arena.
Yeah, no, that is literally.
And then we'll find out. God damn it!
Let's run this simulation for real. Well, Rob, thank you for sharing all of your time with us on Worst Impressions. You've been an absolute treat, absolute delight. It's been so interesting. I feel like I could ask you a million more, but I want to save them for another time that you come on. What is there anything that you want to share before we hop off today? Anything that we didn't cover that you were like, oh, I want to talk about this?
Was there? I don't know, because
we covered a lot.
I was like, what the fuck am I going to talk about?
You have so much. You have so much to say.
But see, maybe it's just me, but because it's my life, I don't think it's very interesting.
Trust me, people are gonna DM me about this. And be like, what the hell? This guy's wild.
I have done some crazy, stupid shit.
Yeah.
And honestly, the craziest, stupidest road stories don't even involve the brats.
Okay.
just a little thing. I was in a band called Weird Cousin.
Weird Cousin.
Hi, West Tony and Jimmy. We played a show. It wasn't really a road show because it was in Austin, at this place called Chances, which is a lesbian bar.
Nice.
4 guys.
Yeah.
But like we were the lesbians liked our music.
Hell yeah.
And I think we got to keep coming back because we never hit on them.
Right.
Like,
it's perfect.
It's a lesbian bar.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pick anybody up here. Yeah. Why make the effort?
Right.
You know? But we played there. It was a full moon. The stage was outdoors up against a small cliff, like a bluff, in downtown Austin, limestone. I mean, it was beautiful, beautiful venue that's not there anymore. But we're playing, and me and one of the guitar players had both taken a hit of acid, and the bassist and the other guitar player were drunk as fuck. I don't know how it managed to work out, but probably the most epic show I ever played in my life, I think.
It was probably awesome. Long story short, probably awesome.
And like we didn't talk about the fact that I was a teacher, that I directed one act last year. And
oh yeah. No, that I totally forgot about that.
Took that show to state.
Really? That's incredible. Congratulations.
It was a disappointment because they either won or taken second for the last 12 years in a row.
Oh wow.
And we got 5th.
Damn.
But hey, made it to state.
Yeah, that's still incredible. Yeah.
I taught for a while, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I worked for the Department of Public Safety for 15 fucking years.
Did you really? Really? Wow.
Not a trooper, obviously.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you ever wonder why I hate cops, that's part of it.
That's part of it. Well, Rob, thank you so much. Definitely gonna have you back on. We'll get into the weeds about some other stuff.
Yeah,
and
we'll see what your audience has to say about me coming back.
Oh, they're going to want more of you. I promise you this. Check out Lower Class Brats wherever you get your music. I will say, at least with Spotify, I was so impressed by the stats on there. I mean, Ultraviolence has 1 million downloads. Like just itself is crazy.
That's the hit.
17,000 monthly listeners for the band. It's pretty awesome. I was shocked. I was like, what are we talking about here? And yeah, so check it out. I'll put links in the show notes. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Glad to be here.
This is Rob, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Bye, everybody.
Yeah. Don't forget to spay and neuter your pets. Oh, and like, subscribe, all of the things. Support the show. If you want to support the show for free, please just share the show with your friends in your family. Share the link. Send it up. Share it on social media, wherever you can get me out there. Please, I'd love that. And one more thank you to Rob for coming into the studio today.
And don't forget, there are Tesla facilities that haven't been set fire to yet.
Oh my God.
Get busy.
Oh my God.